Hey, fancy listeners. Francesca Hampton here, and I am honored that you took time to tune in once again. And I'm committed to sharing content that will make you glad you did. So, welcome to the Fancy Thoughts Podcast, a weekly podcast designed to give you perspective, insight, and encouragement to release the greatness inside of you. I want you to live fancy life, where you are fostering achievement, never compromising you, because someone is waiting for you. Before we get into this week's fancy thought, let's remind ourselves what we talked about last time. Our last episode was episode 20, and we talked about act like it's so. We talked about taking steps in our now, right where we are, to prepare for where we want to be. And in order to do so, we have to act like it's so. We have to act like we believe what we desire will come to pass. And therefore, we have to ensure we have a plan to walk into it. Greatness is coming, and we have to be in position to receive it and to release it. And we're back. It's hard to believe it's been so many weeks since the last time we've spoken. But I can honestly say it's been a really good summer. And even though we may have had a few breaks in between our episodes, as things have finally begun to die down and we're stepping into the new season soon of fall and then winter, I'm excited to say that we will be back to weekly releases of the Fancy Thoughts podcast, starting out this week. I hope that you were able to find time over this summer to do things that maybe you hadn't done before, to step out, not just in purpose and in releasing greatness, but just in enjoying life, because it is so important. As we go through the hustle and the bustle, as we go through accomplishing our goals and doing all the things that we want to do, desire to do, need to do, one of those things that we often have to remind ourselves to do is just to enjoy our family, enjoy our friends, enjoy nature, enjoy rest, enjoy our own company, enjoy. So I hope that you took some time over this summer to do so. We talked about before in previous episodes about self-care, making sure that we're taking care of ourselves, that we're purposely taking time out to take care of ourselves. And I hope that you did that. And if you didn't, guess what? You still have time. And so with that, here's a great opportunity to take care of yourself a little bit more by continuing to sharpen each other as we go through these fancy thoughts. And so this week's episode 21, is Build Your Brand. Now, this is a very important thing that I think we all have to take into consideration. It's something that sometimes is overlooked or underestimated, but it is extremely important. Our most common understanding or definition of brand is to give a product a distinct identity by means of a characteristic design or packaging, what have you. So when you think of a brand, you think of, a certain logo, or you think of a certain picture, or you think of a certain motto or things of that nature, right? Something that brands something so that every time you see it, you recognize it. And we often relate that to, like I said, our logo. What's your logo? What's your motto? What's your catchy tune or your elevator pitch that every time someone hears it, it will remind them of you. And that's really important. But I want to take today a little bit deeper when we're talking about brand. So I want to take a step back for just a second and share something with you. So as you all know, and I have been telling you, for Live Fancy Life and my business, and it's coming, and the book is about to come out, and I'm really excited because I'm still on track for that to happen. But I recently had a conversation where I needed to recognize what my true brand was. And I can say, honestly, it's been a slow crawl, if you will, in releasing this book, in releasing this business, because I wasn't sure how to offer what I wanted to offer, or how to market it, or how to even present it. Now, some of it was fear. Some of it was the idea of saying, why would anybody want to listen to me? Or why would anybody consider this to be important? How do I put this out there in a way where it catches the eyes and the minds of the right people? And, just a lot of questions where I was questioning myself just a lot of times where I began to question myself, and I allowed not having answers to those questions stop me. I think this is something that many people do, especially those that are, very logical, or those that need to see the full blueprint before they can move forward. It's like, okay, well, no, I have too many questions. Therefore, that means I'm not ready. And so let me speak to all of you who are like me. That is not true. You have enough information where you are to do something to get you started. I'm going to say that again. You have enough information where you are to do something to get you started. You cannot wait until everything is perfect, because the moment that you step out in that perfection, something else will come up and it will no longer be perfect. There is no such thing as the perfect time with the perfect thing, even though in our minds we create this vision of what perfect timing and perfection looks like. And sometimes when we do that, we stifle our ability to move forward. We talked about this in a previous episode. It's not about perfection. It's about progression, right? It's about continually moving forward, not waiting for the perfect time. So I said all that to say, I had a great conversation with some very good friends of mine, and we were talking about branding, and we were talking about how your brand needs to represent you. It needs to represent the full embodiment of who you are, your logo, your business name, your colors, your everything, right? And again, this goes back to that definition of brand, giving things a distinctive identity by means of a characteristic design or packaging, right? So Live Fancy Life is going to go through a new rebranding. All the business ideas, they're all going through a rebranding, because where before I was focusing on what I wanted to offer, now I'm focusing on who I am and recognizing that my offering is me. I just want to pause for a second, because I think that's probably the second time in my life I've ever said that. The offering I have is me. I am the offering, and I'm doing it in different ways. So for example, I'm a worship leader as well, and I offer training for worship teams in how to, continue to grow, and how to strengthen your bond with one another, and how to take your expression of worship through music to another level. And so I'm offering that service, but that service comes through me. And so the offering is me. It's very exciting, and it'll all make more sense even in the next coming months as things begin to change. And I'm thankful that you will be on this journey with me, and you'll begin to see it. And I'm excited for those of you who are in my network and who I will have the honor and the privilege to be able to help. So all of this goes into what I want to talk about when I'm talking about building your brand. So let's move it aside from the design and the packaging and the logos and things of that nature. And I want to talk about what we really mean when we say build your brand, because even in your circumstance, your brand is you. One of the other definitions in the Collins Dictionary for brand is a kind or variety of something distinguished by some distinctive characteristic. Let me say it again. A kind or variety of something distinguished by some distinctive characteristic. So I had to look that up a little bit further. So what does distinctive mean? Something that is distinctive has a special quality or feature which makes it easily recognizable and different from other things of the same type. So I'll say it again. Something that is distinctive has a special quality or feature which makes it easily recognizable and different from other things of the same type. And I love it even more. The word distinct means well-defined, unmistakable, and definite. So when we're talking about your branding, when we're talking about your brand, it's the statement that your brand is something that has a distinctive characteristic. It is that special quality or feature that makes you and what you have to offer, what you have to provide, give, or share easily recognizable and different from similar things. It's what makes you unmistakable. That's the brand that we want to build. And it is so important because in the world that we're in, very few things are completely and totally unique. What I mean by that, you have a unique way of doing things, but the thing that you're doing more times than not is already has been done before. So for example, as a vocalist, I am not the very first person nor the last person who's ever sung. I sing and I write, and I'm not the first person who's ever done it. I'm not the only person who does it. But what is unique is my voice, my sound, and my heart. that comes out in my songs, that comes out in my words, that comes out in my expressions. It is unique. It can be copied, but it can never be duplicated because it is me and it is mine. And so building my brand is being able to identify and recognize the special quality or feature that makes me easily recognizable and different from others. It is what makes me unmistakable, undeniable, well-defined. And that's the thing that we need to build upon. So the goal of this fancy thought today is to help change your mindset just a bit, or even just maybe rekindle your mindset to know that you have a unique offering. You have something that is distinctive, that is special, and is different. And you have to know it first. Because then when you recognize it, you can use that understanding to better present what you have to offer to others. Because think about it again, in the world that we're in, if we all offered the same things the same way, why would people choose one thing or another? They would begin to choose them based on convenience. They would begin to choose them based on price. They would begin to choose them based on, reference alone, right? It would just be these different things like, okay, whichever one is closest to me, that's the cheapest, I'll take it because there's no difference. But how many times have you went all the way on the other side of town to get something that may cost a little bit more simply because of the quality of it or because it was different from the others, right? Let's say for services, for example, my nails. I get my nails done quite often. I wish I could do them at home myself, but that is not an area of creativity that I have been blessed in. And so I remember when I first moved, I lived on one side of town and my nail salon was on the other side of town. Now, of course, nail salons are everywhere. I could have easily found a new nail salon that was much closer to where I was. The uniqueness of my particular nail salon was worth me driving a little bit farther. And they cost a little bit more than the average nail salon, but they were worth it. I used to get very unique designs. I used to get very different types of styles. And I love that because it made me stand out from the rest. I wasn't getting the same styles that you would see all over social media. And I felt different. I felt unique. I felt special in that moment. And so I'm just saying that to say people will do more to get something that resonates with them on the inside when it's different, when it's unique, because there is something that you have to offer that is special to you and that resonates specifically with someone else. So the fact that yours is different is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. And so it shouldn't be covered up or made to be less important. It shouldn't be a back burner. It needs to be up in the forefront because it is going to attract the attention and interest of those who are looking for that uniqueness, who are looking for that special quality, that are looking for that difference. And it's in you. It's part of you. It is you. And you have to learn to release it. You have to learn to embody it and embrace it, and you have to learn to brand it. Dr. Darius Daniels said, none of us are for everybody, but all of us are for somebody, and that we have a contribution to make into the lives of others. What does all of that mean, and how does that relate to what we're saying today? Not all of us are for everybody, but if all of us are for someone, it means that there's somebody that resonates with what we have to offer. There are explicit spheres of influence that you have that no one else can tap into the same way. There are specific people, there are specific organizations, there are specific things that will gravitate towards you, that will resonate again with you, that desire what you have to offer, because on the inside of you is exactly what they need. On the inside of you is something that's different from everybody else and from what everybody else is offering. And if you don't learn how to to capitalize on that, you will make the mistake of consistently offering what you think everybody else wants, the way that everybody else is doing it. And you will miss out on those who are looking for your difference, looking for your characteristics, looking for your special qualities to shine through, because that's the part of what they need. Speaking even just of myself, I've said this in previous podcasts. I recognize I am not the only person saying things like this. I am not the only podcast that exists. I am not the only Black female podcaster. I'm not the only Black female Christian podcaster. I'm not the only Black Christian female podcaster talking about purpose. There are many others, and they're amazing. My content is not better than or greater than. It's different. And what makes it different is me. The way that I express things, the way that I break things down, the way that I bring them together is different from others. And therefore, some people are not going to like it. And there are a select few, those of you who are still listening, who said, I needed that. Not all of us are for everybody, but all of us are for somebody. Someone needs you. Someone needs the unmistakable, distinct characteristic of you in order to receive the thing that you have to offer that is different from everybody else. It's time to build and release our brand, because someone is waiting for you. Thank you for joining us for the Fancy Thoughts podcast. I'm Francesca Hampton, and I look forward to you tuning in again next week. And remember, you are well able, fully capable, and properly equipped to accomplish everything you were created for. So go and make this week a great one.